You can, I've seen people do it. You can do text-to-speech and stream driving your car. Text-to-speech is fine. You can't, if you don't do text-to-speech, then yeah, Twitch will get mad at you. GTA question, can you do a solar server where it's invite only or something like that? Yeah, you can, FaZe, but I forget how to do it. Alright, let's go.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
So, hey, Wolfpack, 44-month resub. Yeah, Bandit, I've seen Madford drive around with text-to-speech, and yeah, he's done a bunch of streams where he's driven all over Britain. No problem. Wolfpack, you working on another book, dude, or what? We could make a TTS of your voice. Oh, God. But then again, guys, I tend to zone everything out when I'm driving, except focusing on driving. If you've ever, I mean, there's not very many people here, but if you've ever had Brimo, like, can attest to this. If you're ever driving around with me, I generally try to focus on the road, and I zone everything else out. So I kind of go like, yeah, that's nice, you know, because I'm just focusing on the road. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe. Working on book 2 still. Getting teaching jobs. Slowed it down in the summer. Got really productive. Nice. Now you're chatterbox. Yeah, but I don't even remember what I talked to you about, to be honest with you. I was not paying attention. So I was saying something, but it didn't register up here, to be honest. I know where we drove, though. I could trace the exact route that we went, because I was, you know, like, I don't know. Yeah, I used to think it meant you were mad at me, but we still have road trip conversations. Well, here in Florida, people will be doing makeup while drinking coffee and trying not to get caught texting and driving. Yeah, those people don't deserve a license, Bill. Yeah. I tried to do a vlog with my dash cam, and I went back and listened to it. I was an incoherent tangent surfing mess. Punctuated with the occasional, hey, watch where you're going, melon fart. Yeah, I know what you mean. All right. Oh, okay, Wolfpack. Yeah. All right, you tell me. All right, so here is the baseline. This is where we were at. Keep in mind this is just a mock-up, but this is kind of where we're at for our SSTO. If it looks like the X33, yeah, it is. I chose to opt for some a single stage to orbit architecture that's kind of like the X33, and the reason, because chat basically canceled the Freedom Program and said make this instead. So what I needed to do was kind of get an estimation on how much this thing was supposed to be. So once again, this thing will fly into space, all the way up into space, no staging, no nothing. And it'll come back down, and it'll land like a shuttle, or like Dart, only not crash. What's that, NASA man? Oh. 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 I want to go there. Can we go there? Oof, that's nice. First time ever trying the Milky Way. You did a good job, dude. Looks great. All right. So, chat, we need to do a deadline here. Well, actually, you know what? We might want to do funding first, because we need to baseline a cost, and if we baseline a cost and testing regime, right? Yeah. Nice. Sneaky. That's a nice cost right now. Dang it. Soiled it. Alright, so the thing costs about 70 Gs, and keep in mind, I kind of this is an overestimate. It's 70 Gs with about half of that being the engines, quite literally. So the propulsion is going to be the most expensive part of this, just like pretty much any other rocket. There we go, my middle mouse wasn't working. So, huh. Yeah, Dish, yeah, that's what we want. Yeah, Berg, chat, Dart, I failed the lunar missions, dude. I got, out of the 5 missions, I got 3 of them done. And I landed a Dart at the end of the 3rd mission, and I shorted the landing, and I killed Jeb, and a Dart crashed. Chat then voted to get rid of or keep the lunar program, and they voted to get rid of it and basically start over. We could start over on the lunar program, but chat wanted to push for SSTO technology, which, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think that was the right move, but that's what they wanted to do. So we're going to remake our architecture from the ground up, use the remaining Freedom rockets that you guys paid for the lunar program for other things to prep ourselves for doing this. But what we have to do is figure out how much funding and the deadlines for getting this SSTO up and running. What's the testing regime going to look like? Well, yeah, we have to make a lot of test stands for this. Bandit, what's that? $10.36 in the 100 is fast, dude. Nice. Yeah, the crew's up there, Berg. Yeah. Listen to it, though. Dude, I gotta focus on this, man. Not right now. We don't contract stuff out, though, Captain Crash. Everything is designed in-house. What are you talking about, Curbnetics? Who's Curbnetics? Screw them. They're not part of this equation. Yes, Ryan, the larger... So we've decided, or at least to kind of get a baseline on what we're trying to do, what I decided to do is do this in 2 phases. We're going to build an SSTO with a 3 to 5 ton payload capacity to orbit that can carry crew and small payloads if we need it, okay? Then after that, I'm going to use that technology to scale up to a big vehicle that's big enough to carry well, basically, it'll be big enough to carry a transfer stage. And the lunar architecture out there will pretty much stay the way it was. Because chat we basically identified that the lunar architecture, the transfer stages and everything, and the transfer vehicle, that was fine. That architecture's perfectly okay. What's wrong is the way to get into space, for crew and for cargo. So that's basically what we're going to do right now. We have to fund vehicle development. The first thing will be developing this thing, and then the second thing will be developing the big boy based off of this. So we basically need to kind of... I'm kind of in this regard taking option 1 and applying option 1's logic to option 2. We're building SSTOs, and the SSTO will have a small one for crew and then a big gigantic one for cargo. So it's like Constellation but with Venture Star. The full-scale Venture Star could move crew or cargo, Ryan. Yeah, it could move either one. So, the baseline, and once again, this is an overestimation. I put more stuff than I think I needed on here. So, 70,000 per vehicle. And then we need to build the pad. We need to build the test stands for it. This is going to need a lot of testing. SSDOs need way more testing than just like a typical Freedom rocket, you know? So, basically what we got to do is we got to do the funding tonight. We're going to do the funding poll, and the poll for this one is going to last 24 hours. We'll pick up that on Wednesday, and then we'll pick the deadline, and that one will last 24 hours as well. So, basically what we got to do... $350. You got to pay $350. So basically what we have to do is figure out what we're going to do with this thing. So, it will be vertical takeoff, Jim. Vertical takeoff, horizontal landing. Didn't Venture Star have a smaller counterpart for testing, though? The X-33. Yeah. Okay. Alright. So, based off of what I'm looking at here, we're going to need a couple of different test articles, right? We're going to need a test article that we can... I would like to do rapid prototyping for this. So, I mean, that's basically all you have to... It's more like Starship, to be honest with you. More like Starship, okay? So, what we're going to need a couple of different test articles here. I need a tank test article to mess with fuel flow. We need a flight test article to mess with in-atmosphere flying, but we could launch the atmospheric article with no fuel load and just go. Basically like what SpaceX is doing with Starship, right? Just fill the tanks up about halfway, get it up to 10,000, turn it around, and make sure that it can come right back to the runway, right? And then, what else do we need? I'm going to need to build the launch complex. I need a payload integration bay. We need a hangar for this. And then, here's the tough part. This thing is currently 261 parts out of 255. So, I'm kind of compounding some numbers in my head. No, S-Master, absolutely not. Oh, this is your stream? Oh, hey, have you tried doing things the way I want to do them? No, I haven't, dude. I don't want to do that because robotics drift over time, dude. That's a bad idea. No, I need to make a launch pad, dude. That's the mission mode rules.
Go at throttle up.
Insert clever 73-month notification here. Yep. Does the runway itself need to be upgraded? We're limited by size with the runway, not part count. So, I think that one of my price points is going to need to include this upgrade, and one of them is not. So, I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is going to be expensive. You're going to need... The lowest minimum funding point, I'm dead serious, would be like $750K. That's to do all the testing and get these. So keep in mind, this is just for the small SSTO right now. Or you know what? You know what? That's not a good idea. Doing it for the small SSTO right now is not wise, unless we do interim short deadlines. You bring it out of the VAB. With the VAB, you have the same problems. I'm gonna go ahead and say, guys, that 1.7 million is probably the least that this is going to take. I'm serious about that. 1.7 is the least I could do, because I could upgrade it and then I have enough capital. If we launch the Freedom rockets and then scrap the pad. You adjust the craft to take less parts. Of course I could, King. That's a price point. It's an overestimated price point. I overestimated on purpose. I don't think that the final vehicle is going to be 250 parts. It might be close, but I did this to kind of overestimate everything on purpose. This is overestimated. All of it. Just take out another mortgage on the Kerbal Assembly building. I don't do debt, Flecken. Yeah, guys, okay, so what I should just probably think out loud for this part. So what I'm thinking is, okay, King, it very well might go over 250 parts for one of the orbiters. It is a first stage after all. I mean, it is an SSTO after all. You're taking a second stage and a first stage and a payload and a fairing and combining it all into one thing, right? Obviously. So, no, Funky, just get perms from one of the moderators. Mods, any mods here? Can you give G Funky Flex link perm, please? I don't know, Ishiku. I don't know how much the original thing cost. Probably $1 billion to put Venture Star back on the books, dude. Easily. Thanks, Pi. So, all right. Here's what are the ways that we could do this? So let's start for pricing. Let's start with what I want. What would I want? I would want this upgraded. But I don't necessarily have to. I would want this upgraded, and then we still have the rocket launches left over from the other lunar missions. We have 4 Freedom rockets to launch, you know, before the production run for Freedom is pretty much over. For Freedom 10 at least. We don't have to upgrade the runway, Sneaky. We don't have to. But the max vessel weight is 400. And this has unlimited. So worst case, we don't need to upgrade the runway. Worst case scenario, I put the orbiters out here and we roll them to the pad. Or I put stuff out here, like all the... Well, actually, yeah, we were just landing on the runway. We're not taking off from the runway. Yeah, so that's irrelevant. We don't need to upgrade the runway. We already forked over the money to upgrade the pad, so we don't need to do that. The SPH is what needs to be up to... Well, it's the SPH or the VAB. I prefer to upgrade the SPH just because this... It really doesn't matter. It's one or the other. Now, this SSTO is not going to be above 250, but I think the next one absolutely will be. And if that's the case, guys, well, that means... No, Dish. I don't have a Falcon 9, so we can't do that. I'm thinking 1.7 million for the hangar upgrade. Well, Arcsign, do we need to upgrade the hangar, or should we just upgrade the VAB? They're the same price. I don't necessarily need to upgrade the SPH. I could still build in the SPH, transfer the file over here, and upgrade the VAB, which will, when we go to build the bigger SSTO, right? And the bigger launch pad, right? The bigger SSTO and the bigger launch pad, right? Yeah, no, well, either way, yeah, 1.7 million would probably be the right way to do this. Either that, or I'd have to, you guys, so I'm gonna say that the least viable way to do this would be, we'll have a price point of 1 million Kerbucks, right? 1 million, 2 million, and 2.5 million. I'm serious. You guys chose to change the launch vehicle architecture. That's not easy to do. 1 million would mean that I have to build the pad myself, because, yeah. 1 million would mean I have to build it all myself, and you have to make the SSTO below 250 million parts, or find a way to assemble a vehicle outside of the SPH. Not a bad challenge, but if you do that, I'm gonna need time. Absolutely. If you do the second option, I'd say... So the first option skimps on funding, but I really wouldn't want to skip on deadline, but you guys might. I mean, first one I would probably say is going to take a little bit longer because I have to figure out subcomponents to the vehicle, right? Does it VTOL? It vertically takes off. It's VTOL hodl. What's up, Agavidi? Could a launch ramp work for SSTO assist? That launch ramp would need to be the size of a launch ramp that you'd need to get over the Grand Canyon phase, but yeah, sure, why not? The 900K, some of that is what I have in the bank, Zelter, and then some of that is slated for Freedom 10 launches. I have 4 Freedom 10s left over from the canceled lunar program, and I'm going to put them to work. I'm going to use that to upgrade my tracking arrays, so we could do unmanned re-entry testing with this SSTO, something that I didn't do with DART. And that's my way. That's gonna be my way of being able to do unmanned testing and not put Kerbals at risk to get a really good launch vehicle figured out, right? Can you explain what's happening? Do you pitch a program to chat and then we vote on what your budget is? Sorry, I don't participate enough to understand. Check the mission mode rules, Flecken. Yeah, just check the mission mode rules. All the answers are there. What was the lunar funding? I forget, Snoodle. We'd have to go look at the website. M rules, core space. All right, so the first one would be 1 million. Basically, don't upgrade don't upgrade anything right now, and try to figure it out. Basically, that would be like, you screwed up with the lunar program. Why would we give you more money? That's that one. If you want to really doom me to failure, that would be the way to do it, but I said I'll give the challenge a shot in good faith, right? The second option, I guess, would be probably... So I would say 1 million, 2 million, and 2.5 million. 2.5 million would be the safest way to do it, and that would enable me to do a little bit more rapid testing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 1 million is use what you got, figure out a way to put the vehicle together outside of the pad. I've never tried to assemble an SSTO and then launch it into space. I've never done that. But that would be a pretty cool challenge in itself. That would make the integration buildings a little bit more complicated because I don't have the SPH, but it's doable. Upgrading the vehicle assembly building, I actually kind of want to do that. Go figure. But no, that's failure. Upgrading the vehicle assembly building so that would, the 2 million option, so the middle price point would give me enough money to either upgrade these or not. I don't have to. But that would be a little bit of a safer bet. 2.5 million is really basically, in terms of funding, we have a little bit more just lick the stamp and send it kind of testing, you know? 255 part limit on the VAB. And I would upgrade the VAB. I would not upgrade the SPH. There's no need. Upgrading the VAB is a good way to hedge my bets in case chat doesn't like SSTOs in the future and wants me to build a bigger rocket. I can just do it. Yeah, so... The 915 million, about 400,000 of that, Jim, give or take, is slated for the 4 Freedom rockets that I have left over. And as far as I'm concerned, that's left over from the failed Luna program. You guys already paid for those launches. I'll just do Chad already funded those launches. I'll figure out a use for those. I technically have 2 Freedom 7 rockets left over as well. I have 6 rockets left over from the Luna program, from the 2 DART flights and the 4 transfer stage flights that we would have needed, right? So I'd say about 400 G's is for those mission, and then 500,000 is what I have left over in the bank. Well, I was gonna go full funding, and then you said full would let you exit SSTOs easier, so now I don't want to. I wouldn't, Yarg. I would do whatever chat wants, to be 100% real with you, but if chat ever got tired of it, which they might, Yarg, there's a good chance that this... It's gonna be difficult, man. It's gonna be difficult to do. There's a good chance that I'll fail this deadline. But that's not gonna stop me from trying. You know me. Yeah, that's the 3 price points. That's the 3 price points. 2.5 million gets me comfortable, so I can do way more testing and potentially lose an orbiter or a vehicle, which isn't a problem. Yeah. And then...
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, NV! Welcome to Mission Control. Your go at throttle up. I don't know why I said that. You gifted 5 subs. I don't know why I would say the jingle for a single sub. I'm sorry, my brain's malfunctioning today. I'm really tired. You know what's weird? During the week, I get like 5 hours of sleep a night. And then Sunday going into Monday, I always try to get more sleep, right? And I slept for like 10 hours. I feel like trash. I'll be honest with you. I've been tired the whole day. I can't even speak straight. Well, we'll discuss deadlines later, Asterix. Funding first, then deadlines. So you guys, here, I'm going to make the poll now, and we'll go from there. And then we will discuss deadlines pretty much on Wednesday. So... He already said... Picture he took of the Neowise comment, Jim. He already said what he was going to link, dude. Drummer, is the website down? Okay. No, that's weird. It just shows a blank screen on... Oh, now it's back. Alright. Is this just for the test program? It's for operational... Yeah, no, this isn't for operational missions. This is to build... You guys funded a new launch vehicle, so yeah, the funding would be initially for the test program, and then we'll figure out where we want to go from there. Me, man, before this poll, I just want to know your policy on buying votes. I'm disabling the alerter. Alright, so SSTO pathways funding. This is a big one, guys, so I'm gonna let this one go for 24 hours, okay? Poll keyword. What should the poll keywords be? Funding? Yeah. So, option 1 would be 1 million flurbos. Keyword funding 1. The description would be 1 million flurbos. Use resources at hand to build. Use resources at hand to fund SSTO development. 1 million flurbos would be, yeah, that would be the low option. That's fine. I mean, but I could probably get it done. The next one would be 2 million flurbos. That's what I call the Kerbal currency. Option 2. Use resources at hand plus a little bit to fund SSTO development. Rough guess how many test flights? We'd want to do I'd want to do 2 high altitude test flights, right? No pad abort flights, obviously. There's no launch escape system on this thing because you guys opted for SSTO development. That's what we went for. And then I'd say a high suborbital flight to mess with re-entry, going basically up and coming back down and gliding back down to the runway, and then an orbital flight attempt. Overestimate? Okay, so times that number by 2. So that's 8 flight tests. 8 flight tests, and you know, taking into account we lose the orbiter at every pop is 560,000. Right? Okay, so option 2 is 2 million flurbos. Potentially buy and potentially upgrade. Now I say potentially because I don't. 2 million might give me the leeway that I need to work on sub-assemblies. I'm not going to say which way I'm going to do it. Potentially upgrade the VAB to allow for larger pads and vehicles to fund SSTO development. Does the SSTO design you have create any lift? It has wings on it, doesn't it? So the next one will be 2.5 million flurbos. Option 3. Option 3 is the nuclear option. High funding to potentially ensure mission success. This is just for the first launch vehicle. Well, Lols, I'll leave that up to you. I'll be honest. Option 1, use the resources at hand, would just be for the small one, for the X-33-esque vehicle, for the crew SSTO. Option 2 gives you a good pathway. Option 2 gives you a good pathway for the larger SSTO, but I might need more funding later depending on how this is going to work. Option 3 would be for the whole shebang-a-bang. Like, yeah. Option 1 is kind of interim. Option 2 is a good pathway down the road. Option 3 is nuke it from orbit. That's buying the whole thing at sticker price right off the bat. Now, okay, look. I'm not going to lie to you, dudes. Alright? I'll explain it, even though I probably shouldn't. Alright? 1 million flurbos is... yeah, I can do it. But that's only for the small vehicle development, right? That could be good. That could be a good way. I'll give you the pros and cons for each one. 1 million flurbos is... okay, so the con. You're underfunding new launch vehicle development, okay? Underfunding is not good historically in any spaceflight program. That's the con. The pro to that is that through that underfunding, I will probably down the road be a little more stingy with design decisions, and it might come out with a more base robust product. An example of that would be Falcon 1. Falcon 1 was made with Elon Musk's personal money, and then it went from there. Falcon 1 came very close to tanking SpaceX completely, right? But it worked. They eventually got it working a little bit behind schedule, right? And it ended up leading to much greater things. Okay, that's the pro. That you get very stingy if you're underfunded, and you know it gets you to the bare minimum success. Now, bare minimum success could end up turning into a much more robust launch vehicle later, right? So that's the pros and cons of option 1. Option 2 is kind of like option 1, but with a couple of things here and there. Okay, so option 2, the cons here. Actually, option 2 is kind of push. There's not really a pro and con to it. It's the middle of the road option, to be honest with you. It gives me a nice, clear pathway to success, and it gives me the funding to back it up. That's the middle of the road. There's not necessarily a pro or a con here. And I'm not going to lie. The money is incorporated here to upgrade the VAB if I want to make a bigger vehicle, right? But I'm probably not going to this time around, right? I'm not, it gives me the pathway to build the cargo variant of the SSTO, the big boy, right? But I don't necessarily have to build that right now, but it gives me the pathway too. So this pathway, like the first one where you rely on like being stingy to make a much simpler vehicle to get a better pathway, this one uses VAB funding to get a pretty okay pathway to building a much bigger SSTO, okay? The con here is, and this is also a con for option 3, the con here is that you're rewarding me with money for failure. I didn't fail the last contract. I failed the last contract, so you cancel the program. You're rewarding failure with more money, which is not necessarily the right move, but this isn't a lot of cash in the scheme of things, right? Once you get into late game Kerbal, 2 million flurbos is not that much, okay? So that, if anything, that's the con for that. Option 3, okay. Option 3 here is the nuclear option. This is the Apollo solution. You throw a lot of money at this, and you get a clear pathway from the small vehicle to the big launch vehicle, right? That doesn't necessarily mean success, okay? That will ensure that I could get a lot of funding, a lot of testing done really, really quickly. A lot of testing, a lot of engineering done really fast, all right? That also, at the same time, means you might see more missions fail, but if a test mission fails, that's no problem. I can do a lot more rapid prototyping, like Starship. It's basically throw a lot of cash at it, right? That could lead to success, but also overfunding projects is not necessarily the right move. But with SSTOs, there's a lot of unknowns here. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, there's a lot of unknowns. And funding this on a cost plus, that's basically a cost plus contract. You're basically throwing that 2.5 million flurbos at development and testing. That way I can upgrade the VAB for potentially bigger launch vehicles and also do a lot of testing very quickly, right? We could build something simple and do a lot of testing that way. And if we lose something, it's not that big of a deal, right? But the con for that, so the cons on the other side of that argument, right? The con for that, first of all, you have rewarding failure with more money, which is not, I mean, whether you think that's an okay option or not, I guess generally depends on how you look at this, right? And the con is that potential overfunding could lead to stagnation. Case in point, SLS. SLS got overfunded. They threw way more money at it at the beginning of the program, which is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to gradually fund and get greater and greater and greater. But also, that's not a good thing. But also, with funding like that, overfunding like that, like Starship, you can afford to lose a prototype and it's not really a big deal. That's the pro in that regard. I agree with Yarg. Option 3 should be 3 million. You want me to make that 3? All right. Okay. This this right here, this one right here comes with the expectation of getting just the small SSTO figured out. This one right here gets the small SSTO figured out with a potential to make the big SSTO. This is make the small and big SSTO pretty much, not at the same time, but make the small SSTO with the expectation of immediately scaling to the big one right after it. Shouldn't it be based on known cost? That's exactly what we're doing, Rocket Guy. The vehicle is about 70 million a pop. I haven't finalized the design, but I'm going to guess 70 million, give or take, at somewhere around 250 parts. I figure 8 test flights, a couple of atmospheric landing, a couple of vertical launch, suborbital. You go up, come back down, fly the vehicle down and land it on the runway. I want to do that a bunch of times to ensure mission success there. So I'd say 3 is a trend, right? 4 is a set, right? And this is taking into account that I might lose a vehicle every time. These vehicles are expensive because they got shuttle engines on them. Trout was saying it was arbitrary. No, I kind of based the... So the 1 million Flurbos would be bare minimum. And see, the 2 million and the 3 billion Flurbos, or the 2 million and the 3 million option are taking into account that the vehicle might be a little bit more complicated and I have to upgrade the VAB. That's why these prices are in the millions and not thousands, right? So 1 million Flurbos would be build the vehicle with the existing infrastructure and go from there. And it's basically just build the first SSTO first. And you know, with the potential down the road of upgrading to bigger things. Option 2 is build the first vehicle. It's the middle of the road option. 2 million is build the first vehicle and upgrade the VAB with a very clear pathway to the next vehicle, but not funding the big SSTO just yet. Option 3 is basically put everything on the table, fund the big and the small vehicle, upgrade the VAB to be able to handle a bigger vehicle, and not design them in parallel, but design the first vehicle and then work on the second vehicle while I'm working on the first vehicle. That's a tough option, I'll be honest with you. In terms of difficulty, option 1 is pretty damn hard, and believe it or not, option 3 is difficult as well. Option 2 is like just hard difficulty. If we're gonna rate it in Halo difficulties, option 1 is heroic. Option 1 is legendary. Option 3 is heroic. Option 2 is probably also actually heroic. Yeah, it's pretty damn close. Let's say option 3 is heroic with skulls. Yeah. Want to know how the hockey game ended? Sure. 2 questions. If we underfund and then you require further funds through testing, shouldn't we reevaluate for the large SSTO funding at a later date? Yeah. Wait, okay, that was 2 questions. What if we underfund? Then would you require further funds through testing? It kind of depends on the program, Canadian. Underfunding has shown that it will produce a simpler vehicle, but that vehicle might not be able to do everything that you need to do. Case in point is Falcon 1. Falcon 1 is pretty underfunded considering what it was, right? But that'll force me to make a much simpler space plane, right? A much simpler SSTO, right? I don't know. That kind of puts me in uncharted territory again. Option 2 is the fair option. That's pretty fair. Pretty fair. Bruins win 32 in OT. Nice. Option 2 gives a clear pathway, but it's like, hey, don't go full. We'll fund it more later. And then option 3 is like I said, the nuclear option. Shouldn't we reevaluate for large SSTO funding at a later date? Option 3 doesn't do that. Option 2 gives me the pathway to it. Option 1 is evaluated at a later date for the most part. If we recover each vehicle, does that cost mean it's only fuel? I wouldn't recover the vehicles, Riv. If I use a test article again, yeah, I'd probably, yeah, if we use a test article, well, we might recover some things here and there. Who knows? So, I'll put a date and time here. This poll will end at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. And then that poll, the deadline poll, will go from Wednesday to Thursday. All right, guys. Let's do it. Let's get this poll figured out. Okay. All right, poll is up. Have at it. We got 24 hours. How would someone vote after the stream has ended? Just vote in chat. Ryan, all you got to do is just type hashtag funding, space, option 1, option 2, option 3. That's it. That's all you got to do. Do you need 50% plus 1 vote for a win? It's majority rules, John. I keep it simple. I keep the rules simple and we adhere to the rules. The rules are kind of broad on purpose because I never know what curveball I'm going to get. But the mission mode rules are set in stone for right. Well, actually, I mean, they're really not. You could change them if you want. But chat and I have to be in concurrence. So. I suggest abandoning this save. You did for almost
Discovery,
2 days
go
if you
and
meant
throttle
to. Yeah, Snoodle, 24 hours. Yeah, okay, because tomorrow is Tuesday and I'm doing a truck stream. This one will end on Wednesday. That's on purpose. So. All right. And guys, I'm not sure I want to keep, like, okay, so that poll is going on, right? I'm not sure I want to keep going. Hey, Gaw, 17-month resub. Do you want to keep funding the... Do you want me to keep working on this, or... I'm pretty sure this... I got this to a baseline point where I think it needs to be. I'm not sure I should work on it anymore until the funding comes around. Like, we got to a good baseline here. This is a good place to start. Let's work on the communication. So in the meantime, while the polls are running, we're going to work on the communications network. Let's work on the communications network. We could engineer the satellite for it. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So, what do we have for comms here? So, yeah, the ComNet is a priority and pretty much has to happen no matter what option we use. Let's go in here and let's look at the JeffNet satellites if they're anywhere here. These are the JeffNet satellites. That's what I'm working with. At least I think that's what it is. Yeah, that's right. See last, please. I'm sorry. Is this for the whole SSTO program? What's the objective? Dude, I just explained that like a second ago, Boris. If you just came back, dude, honestly, just go back in the VOD. Go back in the VOD and check it out, dude. Yeah, you want to jump back in the VOD. I broke down all 3 options, pluses and minuses of each one, just a second ago. So yeah, check that out, dude. Trust me on that one. I'm like, no, like, Boris, it's funny. You asked that question and I literally got finished with it. Oh man. If you just came back, I get it. Not everybody can be watching the stream the whole time. Yeah, go check the VOD, dude. It'll be back there. Okay, so I need to go over here. We got to do our time warp, so... If option 3 wins, will there be a shorter deadline? I don't know. You guys vote on the deadlines, remember? Alright, what do these JeffNet satellites look like? Yep. This one got damaged. Interesting. What's a flurbo? It's what I call the KSP money. So these are 1,000,000 meters up, and they are using RA-15s. Yeah, JeffNet is super freaking old. Oh, I gotta go to the space station and get the freaking... I gotta go to the space station and get the science. Sorry, I forgot to do that. I have no idea, Tom. Would a polar ring of comms help? No. Yeah, Leahy. These are flurbos. You know what two guys can do with some flurbos? Yeah, John, pretty much. Something like the TGSM 601. I'm gonna build it as cheaply as I can, dude. To be honest. Thanks, Pi. Quick draw, man. Alright. Let's go in here. We have 82 science. That's not good for anything. Alright. Hey, Corey. Night's going good. See, instead of basing them off of like Tidris or something, I'm gonna base it off of a SAT bus that I already have. So the Mark III SAT already has a relay. It's already a relay satellite. It already has that stuff on it. We just gotta basically get the science equipment off, right? This actually, I mean, the RA2s should be good for a pretty long, the RA2 should be good for a pretty long distance, and this is also good for CurbNet, so these could work very, very, very useful in that, very usefully in that regard. If you're worried about people judging you for what you vote, guys, you can always just vote right on the website, dude. It's no problem. You don't have to vote in chat if anybody's discouraged by people intimidating votes in chat. No, I'm just kidding. What's the outer shell? Solar panels, Rib. And the inner one is a structural tube. Yep. See? What is with this funding thing? It's the poll that we're working on, Corey? Chat's funding my SSDO program. Yeah. Guys, I honestly think this will be just fine. Mark III ComStat. This thing should be good for, good for communications network here. Snoodle, I'm gonna pull the funding out of what's left over from the lunar program. Because throwing money at a problem, Corey, doesn't necessarily mean a solution. You know? Corey, say you want to be a professional race car driver. If you have $1 million, will that make you a better professional race car driver? Actually, a better way to say that is say you're trying to get into NASCAR and you have like $5 million. Will that make you a better race car driver? No, it'll get you the resources that you need, but it won't get you the training, that's for sure. Yes, Lance Stroll! Cough, Mazepin, cough, Mazepin. You guys, I think you guys have you guys gotten COVID tests? I think you guys are getting sick. Mazepin watching like... So throwing money at a problem doesn't necessarily solve that problem. What's the battery capacity on this? The batteries are down here. It's good battery capacity. John, this will work just fine. And RA2s are a good upgrade. What's the difference here? 5M to 15G. So this is... yeah, way better. I wonder what the range on this thing is. Actually, RA15 should be good out to the moon. They should be good out to the moon. Absolutely. Yeah, RA15s, because I'm pretty sure our ICBCs, our ground stations are RA2s. Oh no, that's 2G. No, 15. No, 15 is too much. That's what I'll make our next gen ground stations out of for deep space travel. This one right here, the RA2 relay is good. That's good for TDRS. This will be just fine. These satellites should be able to penetrate the plasma from re-entry. Sawyer, 42-month resub. Thanks for the content. Absolutely, my dude. Did you see Toto talking to race control about Mazepin? No way. Oh, okay, Hellfish. Alright. This is our comm satellite. That's what we'll use. Alright. So we got the comm satellites figured out, and what I'll do is I'll use... How heavy is this thing? 1.5? Yeah, we could just stack 3 of these things, no problem. We'll do it like radar sat. I'm gonna X out of that. So, radar sat was a satellite constellation. And the sats were in 3x symmetry. See? Look. There's an actual tri-adapter right there. See the 3 of them? We could do it just like that. No problem. Toto talking to Massey live.
Michael, blue flags. Michael, this guy makes us lose the position.
That's Toto Wolff talking to race control.
Yeah. Talking to Michael Massey.
Michael, blue flags. Michael, this guy makes us lose the position.
Why is there a Canadian flag there? RadarSat is a Canadian climate monitoring satellite constellation, John. Have you tried to make something similar to Starship and Kerbal before? Yes? Yeah, Pixel, I know what you mean. Blue flag, blue flag. Come on, blue flag. Blue flag, blue flag, blue flag. I think it's better to ignore Mazespin. He doesn't deserve any attention. Let's just stop talking about him. You're probably right, man. Oh, shoot. You're probably right, my boy. Hey, if he screws up Lewis's race, kind of... Yeah, you can just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you still won the race. Who cares? How did it go? How did what go? It's hard to land. It's hard to land manually, but it works. Alright. That's our comm satellites, and yeah, I'll integrate them like RadarSat. Should be pretty straightforward. Check this. Oop. Did Lewis flip him off? Yeah, I know, Jack Fleff, huh? Yeah, that tells me that I engineered it right. Yeah, asking after 30 minutes. Thanks, man. That was Stroll? Oof. Wrecked. Please tell the tractor company to stop being good because they're getting too close to McLaren. You know we're gonna pass you, right? Ferrari was always better. Hey, Brian, once you hit rock bottom, there's only one way to go, right? Ferrari, I am inevitable. I already offloaded science from the station. Yeah, there's like 680 up there left, Core. Into a deeper hole, rock bottom. Your attempt at wittiness has failed you. I'm just looking around at where we should go. It's not what you heard, it's what you hear and listen. It's what you hear and listen. What? Max gonna give it to Oh man, that would be fun to have Mark III. I think I'm gonna shoot for this one next. That'll give us the adapter. Well, actually, we might not be able to do the fuel tanks without that. I might not absolutely need that. No, Blue. You don't have to vote right now. You can vote after the stream stops. Anyway, I got the comm networks figured out, dudes. And I have we got the communications set out, and Wednesday I'm gonna put Freedom's pad to work. We have 4 Freedom 7s left to build this constellation. Probably send one on Wednesday, so you will see a mission. And yeah, What I'm gonna try to do is, no matter what funding option, I'm gonna try to pivot to this fast so we don't spend too much time messing around on the ground, you know? Why is Elon in a Wario costume? That's not Elon, that's Wario. There's no Elon in a Wario costume, it's just Wario. Alright. Alright. Wario is a fine, upstanding Italian-American. Alright, fellas. Well, okay. I already had the comm network engineered, and we'll launch the missions on Wednesday, so... yeah, I think we did everything that we needed to do. I thought that I would have the price points a little bit... We would need the price points a little bit more fleshed out, but I think it's pretty straightforward stuff. So, here's what we'll do. I'm going to keep... That poll is going to stay open until Wednesday, alright? And what I'm going to do right now is I need to get some sleep tonight because I'm going to try to get up in the morning to work on the truck. Well, not try to. I am going to get up in the morning for the truck. I have wires and wiring and everything that I need to basically finish the wire harness and then sheath a good deal of it. I didn't get the Deutsch connectors. I'm just going to go with bullet connectors for the truck right now for the people that are following that. We don't need the Deutsch connectors. The bullet connectors are fine. It'll be fine. So I'm going to do that, and yeah, we'll get that all figured out. I'm going to try, guys, I'm serious. I'm going to try to finalize the wire harness tomorrow. So we got to get up. I'm going to get up. I'm going to do work. Doom, we talked about funding for KSP and kind of went from there. We didn't really do much gameplay, but we did talk about where we need to go. It's poll voting, dude, because we need to choose the the funding goal for the SSTO is up, and then based off of that, we'll choose the deadline goal on Wednesday into Thursday. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you communications satellite missions because either way we need to upgrade our tracking data and relay systems. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will probably be all of that, or we could launch it all in one shot, and that should be able to fix that. And then I can resume SSTO construction. I'll resume SSTO construction on basically after the funding and the deadlines are good on Thursday. So Wednesday, Thursday will be communication missions. The poll is still going, Doom. It'll go till Monday. It's on ejsa.space. So what engines does SLS use? RS-25s. They're leftover engines from the shuttle program. Yeah, Corey, I played in vanilla completely. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think that's it. We got the rest of the week mapped out, and depending on the deadline, I'll make the deadlines depending on the funding that you give me. So, yeah, once again, I would launch one of the comm missions tonight but I want to stream tomorrow to work on the truck. So, that's going to do it for me tonight, guys. I do appreciate it. I get it. I haven't been playing a lot of KSP lately after I killed Jeb, but I'm basically recuperating and reorganizing, and we'll hit it guns blazing with the SSTO program. I have some pretty damn good ideas for where we could take this, depending on the funding. So, Charadra is streaming right now. It looks like he's playing some RimWorld. I don't know why you'd want to put himself through that kind of pain. I'm a glutton for pain and punishment on stream, right? But this